My name is Rachel, and I'm a 33-year-old housewife. My husband Adam and I have been married for 4 years, but we haven't had a child yet. We are currently undergoing fertility treatment, but we are having trouble conceiving a child. One day, on my way home from the grocery store, I saw a little girl, a complete stranger, squatting in front of my house. I wondered why she was out on such a cold midwinter day without a coat, so I called out to her. I said, "Hello, are you waiting for someone?" "Well." "Can you say your name?" "Selena." "Your name is Selena. Okay. Where's Mommy?" "Mommy, she went somewhere." "I see. Are you lost? Can you say Mommy's name?" "Mary." "Mary, you mean—" "Mommy told me to give you this." Selena held out a piece of paper to me. I opened the letter with a trembling hand and found only the words, "Take care of this child for a while." "No way, are you Mary's daughter?" Apparently, the sender of this letter, Mary, is my older sister. Mary left home when she was 20 years old and never returned to our house. It's been like 17 years or something. Since she was a teenager, she repeatedly ran away from home, got in bad situations with men, caused financial trouble, caused us a lot of trouble. My parents and I were worried about her life, but we had no idea she'd had a child. "What time did your mom say she would pick you up?" "I don't know. Mommy always plays with men who I don't know and doesn't come home until morning." "What? Really? Okay then, where's your father?" "I don't have a daddy." "You don't have a daddy?" "Mommy told me to stay at this house for a while because you're her sister." "I see." I took her hand and led her into the house, for the time being. She was really cold and shivering. I wonder how long she had been outside. Mary was always a selfish sister with no sense of responsibility, but I never thought she would do this to her own child. I wanted to have a child, but I couldn't. I felt a surge of anger toward Mary. Pushing these feelings aside, I turned on the stove and wrapped Selena in a warm blanket. "Selena, are you hungry?" "I'm hungry. I haven't eaten anything since yesterday." "You haven't eaten anything?" "I'll bring you some food right now. Just a second." I heated up the pumpkin soup I made yesterday and fed it to Selena right away. It was the first time she had ever drunk pumpkin soup, and she drank a lot of it, and it seemed like she really liked it. "Delicious! This is delicious!" "Really? I'm so happy. Have as much as you want." Selena told me it was delicious to the point of overdoing it, and I felt sad when I saw her expression. I am sure that Selena was going a little over the top about how good it tasted. It seems like she wanted to make me feel good. I wondered what kind of life she usually had. I felt it was too much to ask Selena, so for now, I decided to cook her delicious food until she was full. I fed her fried chicken, an omelet, and rice, and she ate them all, saying they were delicious and tasty. Selena seemed to be completely full, so I suggested that we take a bath. It seemed that she hadn't had a bath for a few days, and her hair was greasy. "Selena, how about a bath?" "A bath?" When I said that, Selena's face seemed to tense up for a moment. "You don't like taking a bath?" No, I don't mind." "Are you sure? Then I'll get you something to wear as pajamas." I hurried to the bedroom to pick out some smaller clothes and went back to the living room. But when I entered the living room, for some reason, Selena was not there. I heard water running in the kitchen, so I peeked in and saw that Selena stuck her head in the kitchen sink to wash her hair. "What are you doing? That water is so cold." "What? You'll catch a cold." "I'm sorry." "You don't have to apologize." "Oh, you're so cold." I wrapped Selena in a blanket and took her to the bathroom. She was so surprised and wide-eyed. "That's amazing." "What?" "It's just like the house I saw on TV." The house where Selena lived apparently did not have a bathroom. Seemed like Mary had made Selena wash herself with cold tap water from the kitchen because she thought warm water would be a waste of gas money. Tried to hold back my tears as I undressed Selena and gently placed her in the bathtub. "It's so warm. Are baths always this warm?" "Wow." "It's nice, huh? From now on, you can take a bath every day." "Really? I'm so happy." I warmed Selena's body in the bath and helped her get clean. Her hair was a bit tangled up, but I gave it a treatment to make it more manageable, and she was back to her lovely girl self. I dressed her in my loungewear, and while we were relaxing on the couch in the living room, Adam came home. "I'm home." "Welcome back." "This must be the girl you told me about." "I'm sorry." When Selena saw Adam, she shrank back as if frightened. "It's fine. This man is my husband. He's a kind man, so you don't need to be afraid of him." I explained the situation to Adam again. "What the hell? That's unforgivable. Can we keep her at our place for a while?" "Of course. How could she do that to such a small child?" Adam and I finished talking and returned to Selena, who was curled up in the living room. And I started talking to Selena. "Selena, like I mentioned earlier, this man is my husband, Adam. Please call me Uncle Adam." "Good evening. The three of us will be living in this house for a while. Is that okay with you?" Is it okay if I stay here?" "Of course. And after we get settled, you'll go to elementary school." "I've never been to school." "You've never been to school? What about kindergarten?" "I've never been to kindergarten because I'm no one." "What?" "I can't go to school." "What do you mean by no one?" Selena, since she was still a small child, didn't know the details of the situation, why she was considered no one. She didn't want to talk about it. That day, I decided to let the conversation end there and let Selena just rest. The next day, I reported this to my parents. They immediately came to see me. They said, "Hello, Selena. We are your grandfather and grandmother." "Grandma and Grandpa?" They hugged Selena, crying. She was puzzled, but she seemed to be happy. It was as if she did not know that she had grandparents. After that, I asked my parents to watch Selena and went to City Hall to obtain Mary's family register. When I checked, I found that Mary was unmarried and there was no mention of any children. It seems that Selena's birth has never been registered. She was a non-existent child who never received an enrollment notice for elementary school. So that's what Selena meant when she said she was no one. After that, I consulted with several people, including the Child Consultation Center and the municipal office. After various discussions and much support, Selena's family register was finally created. "Selena, you can go to elementary school now. I'm so happy for you." "Thank you." By that time, it had already been more than a month since Selena came to our home, but she hasn't opened up to us much. She always seemed to be skittish every time Adam or I moved. And not only that, whenever she made a mistake, she would apologize to an unusual degree, curl her body up and cover her head. Mary must have done something painful to her in the past. Selena can't forget that experience. "Selena, you don't have to apologize so much. Uncle Adam and I will never get mad at you, and we won't hit you, ever." "Really? Promise?" "Of course, I promise." After that, Selena's timidity didn't change, but as time went by, she gradually became more talkative and even smiled more. Then one day, Selena blurted out, "I wonder when she will come for me." Hearing those words, I felt sad. Even though Mary treated her so badly, she still wanted her mom. Since Selena's arrival, every day has been a joyous time for me. We wanted so much to have children and treated Selena like our very own daughter. We wanted her to live here with us for a long time. The day after this happened, Selena received an invitation to enter elementary school. I was relieved that I would finally be able to give Selena the same school life as other children. Now that that's decided, we need to get her ready to go to school. We need to buy a school bag, stationery, and lots of clothes. What? Selena, let's go shopping today for new clothes and stuff. I can get new clothes? I've already got some clothes. It's okay. This isn't enough. If you go to elementary school, you'll need more comfortable clothes. Then I'll accompany you as the luggage carrier. Selena and Adam and I went to the shopping mall and got her everything she needed for school. I was having so much fun preparing for the school entrance that I ended up buying a lot of clothes, stationery, etc. The three of us were laughing and saying that we had bought too many things as we headed home. Then, to my surprise, I saw Mary standing in front of our house. Mom? Sis? Oh, welcome home. It's not welcome home. What the hell were you thinking? How dare you come here? Hey, calm down. Don't yell at me, it's just pathetic. Who do you think you're blaming for all of this? First, you need to apologize to Selena. Oh, Selena. Mary only took one look at Selena but didn't even make eye contact with her. What are you trying to do? Well, we can't just stand here talking, so let me in the house. I'll do it even if you don't tell me. Let's go, Selena. Anyway, I decided to let Mary in and ask her what was going on. Is this guy your husband? He's a nice guy. Nice to meet you. I'm Adam. I don't know how to say this at our first meeting, but you are an unfit parent to treat your child like that. You are so cocky, my brother-in-law. You're a stranger. You can't talk to me like that. I don't care about that. You didn't even feed her well, did you? How could you do such a thing to your own child? Single mothers have a hard time. I raised her well. You have no right to complain. You said you raised her well? You just neglected her. Mary was deeply annoyed at being blamed by Adam and me. Her inability to recognize what she had done left me scratching my head and wondering what the hell we were all thinking. I asked Selena how she felt about seeing Mary, and she seemed to be unable to look at Mary directly. Like the same as before, she shrunk and shivered. I assumed originally that she missed her mother, but I sensed that perhaps this was not the case. While I was thinking about it, Mary opened her mouth. She said, "You guys don't have kids, do you?" "No, but so what?" "I'm going to give you this child." "What?" "I've raised her through the toughest baby years of her life. You'll be lucky to have an older kid now." Do you even know what you're talking about? I know what I'm saying. I'm saying that I'm going to give you poor, childless people a little kid. You're disgusting. Unbelievable. Oh, so you don't want her? I'm not going to give her back to you, even if you ask me. I made a family register, and she is going to elementary school next month. I will make her happier than she was when she was with you. Oh, you made a family register? Of course I did. Why didn't you file a birth certificate? Because if I did, they would know I have a child, right? I didn't want to mess with the family register. For such a selfish reason? She was not allowed to go to kindergarten or elementary school because of that. There's nothing wrong with not going to school. It's just called active truancy. It's not worth talking to you. Apparently, Mary had broken up with Selena's father before she gave birth to Selena without registering with him. Mary left Selena alone so many times in order to date guys, pretending to be unmarried and childless so that she can marry a new man and raise her kid. I said, "We'll take Selena. Don't come see us again." "Then 10 million. I'm giving you a person, so 10 million is a small price to pay, right?" "What are you talking about? You're going to sell your daughter for money?" "Of course I'm going to sell her for money." "I'm not going to pay you. Selena is a human being." When I refused, Mary said she would take Selena home with her. She said, "Then I'll take Selena with me, lock her up in the house again, and have her wash her body with cold tap water." "I won't let you do that." "Okay, 10 million. "Okay, well, I can't get it for you today, so you'll have to come back later to pick it up, and I'll keep her here until then." "Well, that's okay. I don't want to be bothered with her anyway." I had no intention of paying, but I lied quickly to keep Selena from being taken away. Mary might come back to take Selena again. From that day on, Adam and I thought about what we could do, and before taking action, we decided to check Selena's feelings. "Selena, do you want to go back to your mommy?" "I don't want to go back. Mom scares me. She always bumps into me and says all kinds of mean things. I don't want to go back." "I see. The other day you said you wondered when your mother would come for you, so..." "That's because I thought that if Mommy came, I'd have to go back to that house. I wanted to stay here forever." "I understand. Then I'll do my best for you to live with us from now on." Having confirmed Selena's feelings, we decided to first investigate Mary's background with an investigative firm that Adam knew. It was then we found out that Mary was now engaged to an elite lawyer. We came up with a plan and began working behind the scenes to keep Mary from finding out. A week later, when everything was ready, we lied to Mary and told her that we had the money and we were ready to meet. On the day of the meeting, I invited Mary to my house. I asked my parents to come and take care of Selena during the meeting. She asked me, "Do you have the money ready?" "I won't give you Selena, and I won't pay you either." "What? I came all the way here because you said you had the money ready. Now give me the money." "Do you have any idea how heartbroken Selena is? And then you end up selling her for money? Unbelievable. How I raise my kid is none of your business. Children grow up even if they are left alone. You just don't understand because you don't have kids." "You didn't tell your boyfriend that you have a child, did you?" "Of course not. He's an elite lawyer and we're getting married next year so we can live happily ever after. Don't bother us, okay?" "What would he think if he knew what you just said?" "What?" Then Mary's boyfriend, the elite lawyer, opened the door and walked in. He said, "Don't tell me what you just said is true. Did you lie to me?" "What's going on? Why are you here?" "You said you were unmarried and childless." "I've never been married. I just happened to have a child by mistake." "By mistake? What a horrible woman. Unbelievable." "Don't say that." "I was almost married to you without knowing you cheated on me. Of course, I'm breaking off the engagement. You cheated me, so you'll have to pay me alimony." "Broken engagement? Alimony? Wait a minute, please, don't leave me." "Shut up. I can't marry a woman who treats her child like that. I don't even want to see your face." "Why are you..." "Rachel, you brought him here. Why did you do this to me?" "Because I knew I couldn't do it the regular way. I'm going to talk to a lawyer here about Selena's case. I was skeptical until I actually heard what you said, so I came here today. But I had no idea she was this much of a scumbag. From now on, I will represent Rachel and her family thoroughly. You're going to regret making an enemy of a lawyer." "Oh, no, please, forgive me." Soon a police officer arrived at our house. In fact, I had asked for an investigation for abandonment of a child by a person responsible for her protection. They had secretly recorded our conversation the last time, and this time when Mary came to our house. I also informed them that Mary would be here today. Mary was taken away by the police and arrested for abandonment of a child under protective custody. She was to live behind bars for a while. After that, it took a long time and was quite difficult, but after going through various processes, Selena was allowed to live with us. The lawyer, as he declared, demanded compensation from Mary for breaking off the engagement. Mary didn't stand a chance and was thoroughly beaten down. After her release from prison, Mary lost both her boyfriend and Selena. And because she had to work so hard to pay the alimony, she lost her good looks and gradually stopped attracting men. The other day, she stormed into our house, crying and demanding Selena back. "She's my baby. Give her back." "What are you talking about now? She's ours. I won't give her back to you. You're not her guardian anymore." "No, not Mommy. Uncle and Auntie are Mommy and Daddy. I'm here." "No, why? I am your mommy, okay?" Mary had been rejected by Selena as well, and walked away dazedly as if in despair. I'm not going to let her get Selena back. For the rest of her life, I want Mary to reflect on what she did to Selena and live alone and lonely. Meanwhile, Adam and I have stopped our painful infertility treatment, and now the three of us are spending our days together with lots of laughter. I am grateful for the happy time Selena has given us, and I hope to spend the rest of my life giving her all the love I can.
"I've moved out, so your house is gone. It must be tough without a place to call home. But hang in there," my mother-in-law cheerfully announced over the phone. I responded with a disinterested, "Enjoy your life in your new home," she continued. "Yes, thank you, and please never come back to my house. After all, you'll be getting a divorce." With that, my mother-in-law hung up. I stood still at the airport for a moment. What welled up within me wasn't anger, but joy. Yes! I clenched my fist in a small victory gesture and set off for home with a spring in my step. My name is Emma. My husband, David, was assigned to work abroad immediately after our marriage, forcing us into a short period of living apart. Despite the distance following our immediate marriage, David and I had been dating for 5 years before tying the knot, and had also lived together. Our long-term relationship and cohabitation had built a strong bond of trust between us. I didn't worry about David being unfaithful, and instead, I hoped that he would remain healthy while overseas. Our days should have continued in this calm, yet sometimes lonely state. But the problem arose when my mother-in-law decided to move into our house. My mother-in-law, married since David was a child, is now single. Upon learning that David was being assigned overseas, she declared, "I'll keep my eye on you, Emma, to make sure you don't cheat." She began living in our house without our consent. Apparently, she was cheated on and subsequently abandoned by my father-in-law, whose whereabouts are unknown. To prevent David from experiencing the same thing, she decided to monitor me, but the constant surveillance made life unbearable. Desperate, I turned to David for help. He repeatedly urged his mother to leave, but she refused to listen. "David trusts you too much, Emma. I can tell. A woman like you will definitely cheat," she accused baselessly, giving me a headache every day. Regardless of what I did, she linked it to infidelity. My mother-in-law wouldn't even prepare dinner for me. She would cook for herself using food from the fridge, but never left any for me. Moreover, she didn't go grocery shopping herself. She used the ingredients that I had bought for my cooking, leaving me at a loss when I came home and found that the groceries I thought were in the fridge were gone. Of course, I complained about this, but my mother-in-law either didn't care or didn't listen. "I suppose you ate dinner out with your boyfriend since you're cheating," she would say, irritating me beyond belief. Even when I came home late from work and started cooking, she would create a commotion, accusing, "You must be cheating if you come home at this hour," leaving your mother-in-law alone. During my work's busy period, when I was often coming home late, She constantly made a fuss about me cheating. I was so stressed that I even felt sick. I'm begging you, please leave. I am not cheating. I truly love David. I told her. David, too busy to come back to the U.S., tried his best to persuade his mother. Still, her response was disheartening. So you want me to leave that badly? You must be cheating after all. I could only sigh at this point. On a day off, I went out to meet a friend and was once again accused of cheating by my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law seemed determined to catch my infidelity and began a clumsy attempt to tail me from behind. She hid behind lampposts and behind our home's brick wall, busily skulking about. I chose to ignore her antics. I met up with a friend at a cafe, grumbling in a low voice so my mother-in-law wouldn't hear. Suddenly, a flash of light blinked a few times. It was her, taking pictures of me. My friend, looking suspicious, asked, "What's that, a stalker?" My friend Abby has been a close friend since our student days. Abby, a tough woman, began to stand up saying, "Should I tell her off?" But I quickly persuaded her to sit. No, please sit down. Abby, sporting a pixie cut in street-style fashion, looked androgynous. I mentioned that my mother-in-law might have mistaken her for a man, which caused Abby to double over in laughter. Enjoying the spectacle, Abby leaned closer to me, held my hand as a joke to provoke my mother-in-law. Each time, my mother-in-law flashed her camera, capturing every moment. When I checked in the mirror, she seemed thrilled, snapping photos of us while her nostrils flared with excitement. I found myself laughing at the absurdity of the situation. Having witnessed my mother-in-law's silly antics, I managed to let off some steam and went on to do a little shopping with Abby before we parted ways. Sure enough, my mother-in-law followed me home, hiding behind lampposts and brick walls just like before. Every so often, I'd quickly run around like playing a game of red light, green light, and she'd scamper off to hide. It was amusing, and I found myself playing along with her ridiculous game. I thought how foolish she must be to believe that I didn't notice her tailing me. Once I arrived home and started to take off my shoes, my mother-in-law quickly rushed in. If she was tailing me, she could have at least delayed her return home. I was taken aback when she excitedly showed me a disposable camera. "Emma, I finally got proof of your infidelity. I'm going to send all of these to David, so be prepared." "Oh, really? Good luck with that." She didn't like my nonchalant response and spent the rest of the time buzzing around me like a nagging child. "Are you okay with this? It's proof of infidelity. Your face and his are both clear in the photos." But I calmly kept responding, "That's fine." While it was unfortunate that Abby's androgynous look got her mistaken for a man, David had met Abby several times before we got married. Even if she sends a photo of me and Abby as proof of infidelity, David will likely recognize her as just a friend. As I endured my mother-in-law's ridiculous and childish schemes, I suddenly had to go on a business trip overseas. It was a shame that I wouldn't be able to meet David because it was in a different country, but it couldn't be helped. I informed my mother-in-law, who I live with, about my business trip, although I didn't ask for her input. In her mind, it seemed to translate into a romantic getaway. While I was preparing for my business trip, my mother-in-law smirked and said, "It'll be a big problem if you come back pregnant from your romantic getaway. David hasn't seen you in a while, so it won't be easy to pretend that the baby is his." Her distasteful imagination made it pointless to argue back. I responded nonchalantly, "Yes, indeed, but it's a business trip, not a romantic getaway," and I left for my trip. My business trip was busy and hectic, and the days flew by in a whirl. When I finally returned to the U.S., I was exhausted. My boss, who had also joined the trip, seemed worn out as well and left for home. I had planned to buy some duty-free sweets before going home, so I took a break on a bench. At that moment, my phone rang. It was a call from Abby, and she told me something surprising. Emma, welcome back. There's something I need to tell you. Your mom came to the company our family runs." "What?" The company run by Abby's family isn't the type that ordinary people visit. When I learned that my mother-in-law had gone there, I felt my blood boiling. Abby told me how she handled my mother-in-law and asked me if she went overboard. I replied, no, I think it was just right. After laughing and ending the call with Abby, it was just about time to leave when I got another call from my mother-in-law. Emma, you should be back from your trip now. Did you enjoy your affair trip? It wasn't an affair trip, and I didn't particularly enjoy it because I went there for work. Well, I've already sent David the evidence photos. I simply responded with, I see, to my mother-in-law, who seemed pleased with herself. Ignoring my indifference, she just kept on talking. Actually, I moved, so your house is no longer there. I sold the old house, so you must be struggling without a place to go back to, but hang in there. I gave an uninterested to my mother-in-law, who happily laughed as she said this. Enjoy your life in your new house. Thank you, and please never come back to our house. After all, you're going to be divorced soon. I stood in the airport for a while after my mother-in-law hung up. What gradually filled my heart was not anger, but joy. I did it! I made a little fist pump and started my journey home with a light step. Of course, I was returning to the house my mother-in-law said she had sold. The furniture was probably taken out by my mother-in-law. Although a lot of things were gone, I accepted it as a severance fee. I immediately called the locksmith to replace the front door lock so that my mother-in-law could not get in even if she returned. Then, I lay down in the living room, comfortably, celebrating the freedom I had finally attained. I made another fist pump inside the house, shouting, I did it! The next day, I got a call from my mother-in-law. What's wrong? I asked her maliciously, as she spoke in a flustered manner. She was trembling as she said, Actually, I thought I sold the house, but it turns out I didn't. It seems I borrowed money without realizing it. Debt collectors are coming, and it's really scary. That must be terrifying, because the company she unknowingly visited, thinking it was Abby's parents, was on the surface a real estate company, but its hidden side was a loan sharking business. According to Abby, they had told her repeatedly that the house couldn't be sold. The house was in David's name, so she couldn't just sell it on her own. Having been turned down by all the real estate agencies she went to, she ended up at the company Abby's parents ran. To her desperate plea to sell the house, they gave her a promissory note for a large amount of debt to sign. But she thought she was selling the house and signed it without reading the content. The document seemed to obligate her to repay $1,000 every day. She managed to pay off the debt collectors for today, but she doesn't have the means to prepare $1,000 every day from tomorrow on, so she came crying to me. Please, Emma, you have to help me. The debt collectors are pounding at my door from dawn. It's terrifying. I can't sleep well, and I don't have much money. I used the money I borrowed to buy a new house, so I don't even have any savings left. I know what. Please, transfer $10,000 to my account every week until I've paid off the debt. Do you think there will ever come a day when you can pay off the company's debt? I don't think it will. Even if you combine my income with David's, it's impossible to transfer $10,000 every week. I'm sorry, but your only choice is to work hard and earn it yourself. What? As if there's a day job out there where I can earn $1,000 every day. Well, why don't you try talking to the company you borrowed money from? They might be able to introduce you to a good job. I meant it as a joke. But my confused mother-in-law said, Really? Then I'll go and see. And she hung up the phone. I thought to myself, oh dear. There was no stopping my mother-in-law now. I heard from Abby later that my mother-in-law suddenly showed up at the company and said, I have no choice but to work because I have no money. Is there a simple and easy job where I can earn more than $1,000 a day? Abby and her team did find my mother-in-law a job. A company where many people sleep in dilapidated shacks that serve as employee dormitories. In that company, they work tirelessly day and night, doing quite a bit of physical labor. Even elderly people are made to work relentlessly. So my mother-in-law seems to be working herself to the bone. The dormitory for the workplace is inside a network lined with barbed wire, reminiscent of a prison, and the employees are blindfolded and transported to and from work in a van. So they are forced to work without even knowing where they are. She'll be free once she can pay off the debt. That is, if the day ever comes. Abby, who said this with a smile, is a dear friend of mine, but I hope she'll forgive me for feeling a little scared. Several weeks after my mother-in-law disappeared, David's overseas assignment ended and he returned home. When I told David what had happened, he only said, "There's nothing we can do about my mom. All we can do is wish her a long life from afar." It seems David never really liked his incomprehensible mother from when he was a child. He tolerated her because she was his mother, but it seemed that David had completely lost patience with his mother, who continued to suspect me, his wife, of infidelity. When I asked David if he had received the so-called evidence photos of my infidelity, he said, "Oh yeah," as if he had just remembered, and handed me a photo from his bag. "That's Abby, right? I have no idea why she would assume this was proof of infidelity. I actually had a huge fight with my mom over the phone. I told her I would cut ties if she kept suspecting you, Emma, but she just wouldn't listen, and it really annoyed me. But I thought this was a good picture, so I brought it home." True, my mother-in-law might have had a knack for photography. What a waste. The photo of Abby and me taken from behind by my mother-in-law, paired with the beautiful scenery, had a sense of style, as if it were a page from a photo album. It was kind of funny how Abby was playfully making a peace sign behind her back. It was just so Abby. We owe Abby a lot. We should pay her a proper visit sometime soon. Just make sure you don't sign any documents she might try to get you to sign. I'll never sign any document that Abby gives me. Chuckling together, David and I were finally able to live like a newlywed couple. We had no idea what happened to my mother-in-law afterwards, but she's probably still doing hard labor somewhere in the States. We felt like we could find out where she was if we asked Abby, but neither David or I had any desire to track down my mother-in-law. David and I continued to live happily together, and I gave birth to our first child. We are enjoying our blissful days.